a very warm welcome to Game On. I'm Meha Bharadwaj-Alter, and today we begin with India versus England day one in Rajkot, and it was a seesawing opening day of the third test match. Actually saw India recover from a poor start of 33 for 3 to reach a position of dominance, ending the day on 326 for 5. Having won the vital toss, Team India skipper Rohit Sharma led from the front with a stroke-filled 131, which is his 11th Test 100, while Ravindra Jadeja marked his return from injury with a watchful 110. Ben Stokes had yesterday revealed England's 11 with the decision to drop a spinner for an extra pacer, and it was that man who made the early breakthroughs. Mark Wood dismissed Yashasvi Jaiswal for 10 and Shubman Gill for a duck in his opening spell of pace and hostility, leaving India in trouble at 24 for 2. And when Stokes turned to spin for the 9th over, the result was immediate as Tom Hartley priced out Rajat Patidar as India slipped to 33 for 3. Promoted to number 5, Ravindra Jadeja joined his captain, and the two experienced players set about laying the foundations for a recovery with a partnership of 204. Rohit was lucky to be dropped on 27, but that blemish aside, he looked in command of the proceedings when at the crease. And with Jadeja offering admirable support in a tough situation, Rohit found the confidence to not veer too far away from his natural ways. The pair took toll on any loose offerings from the English bowlers and turned a scoreline of 33 for 3 into a period of control. So much so that the pair batted all through the afternoon session and into the final passage of play after the tea break. Rohit reached his century in the first over after tea, while Jadeja built on a solid 50 holding the other end. The loss of Rohit for 131 saw the debutant Sarfaraz Khan walk out to bat for the first time in an international match. And after some initial moments of nervousness, he began playing his shots to the spinners. Sarfaraz showed balanced aggression against the spinners, hitting 50 off just 48 balls. He looked good to get to the 3-figure mark, but with Jadeja on 99, there was a terrible mix-up between the two, and Sarfaraz was unlucky to get run out after Jadeja called him for a single, only to run back to his crease. Jadeja did get to his 100th the next ball, but it was a subdued celebration given what had transpired the ball before. Take a look at that scorecard as well. India ending the day in a dominant position, 326 for 5, courtesy hundreds from Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja. And of course, it was an eye-catching debut for Sarfaraz Khan. Mark Wood started well for England, but after that, the Indian batters, they were brilliant against the spinners. And as you can see, Tom Hartley, he had to bear the brunt of it. James Anderson bowled well in the beginning, but without any wickets in the wickets column. Now, one man who can feel significantly relieved at a personal level is India captain Rohit Sharma, who scored his 11th Test century to help lay a platform for his team on day one in Rajkot. In 13 previous Test innings at home since the start of 2022, Rohit had managed to get to 50 just once when he scored a match-setting 120 against Australia in the first match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy last year. And in his last 8 innings, home or away, the opener had not managed to get to 40. Under pressure, not just as skipper with the series at 1-all, but also as the most experienced batter in the side, Rohit stood up with a captain's knock. His 131 of 196 balls contained 14 fours and 3 sixes. And with Ravindra Jadeja, he put on a massive stand between the two. They both put on a massive stand between them to get India out of trouble. Rohit enjoyed a slice of luck early in his innings when on 29 he tried to hit the left-arm spin of Tom Hartley, and he saw a thick edge put down by Joe Root at slip. Moments later, Rohit successfully reviewed an LBW decision off the bowling of James Anderson and never looked back from there as he crossed 50 in the company of Jadeja and eventually to his 100. Given the presence of two debutants in the middle order and Rajat Patidar playing in his just his second Test match, it was vital that a senior batsman like Rohit really bat big and more so after Shubman Gill's duck. And what better way for the hitman to hit his way out of a slump than with a terrific 100 on day one of a test match. Rohit looked set for a big innings before he tried to take on Mark Wood on 131 and fell to the short ball plan. But subtract that 100 and matters would have been very poor for Team India on day one. Now, India made 3 changes to their playing 11 for this match, and 2 of the batters to come in are debutants. At long last, the domestic run machine from Mumbai, Sarfaraz Khan, was handed his first test cap in front of his emotional father, Rohit Khan, who has mentored and coached him since he was a little boy. And the other debutant was wicketkeeper Dhruv Jurel, who came in, for KS Bharat. 26-year-old Sarfaraz had long been scoring runs in the Ranji Trophy and zonal cricket and came into his first match for India with a first-class batting average of over 69. Over the past couple of seasons, whenever an Indian squad has been announced and Sarfaraz's name was absent, debates swirled around the purpose of domestic cricket, in particular red ball cricket. Sarfaraz was added to the squad for the previous test and included for the remainder of the series. And earlier today, he was at last handed a debut. Initially slotted to bat at number 5, where he has batted mostly in domestic cricket and for India, Sarfaraz had to wait for his chance. The management sent in Ravindra Jadeja at 5 at the fall of Rajat Patidar, with India scored just at 33 for 3. And the result was a massive partnership that put the home team on top of England. But once Sarfaraz walked in, after Rohit Sharma was dismissed, he showed that he was a treat to watch. He showed the match temperament of an experienced batter instead of a debutant. Once the first runs were scored and nerves settled, Sarfaraz made brilliant use of his footwork and the crease to pick the length of the English spinners and tore them apart, reaching his maiden half century in no time. He looked good for 100 but was unfortunately run out. In Jurel's case, the noise around his abilities grew after the 23-year-old impressed in last year's IPL as a finisher for Rajasthan Royals. But he'd already made the right moves during his brief first-class career, scoring good runs for Uttar Pradesh while excelling as a wicketkeeper, to the extent that Jurel replaced his statemate Upendra Yadav in the India A squad not too long ago. Jurel was named in India's squad for the first 2 tests and retained for the next 3, but had to serve as understudy to the more experienced Bharat. However, when the Andhra wicketkeeper failed to impress with the bat in the Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam tests, the team management grew weary of his failures and handed a test debut to Jurel in Rajkot. Now, Ben Stokes has completed a century of test matches as England and India play the third of this 5-game series in Rajkot. Only 15 England cricketers have achieved the milestone in test cricket. The 32-year-old England captain joined an elite club, which includes his teammates James Anderson and Joe Root. Stokes will be having some special personal memories about the Saurashtra Cricket Association ground. His only test century in India had come at this venue in 2016. That was also his maiden test appearance in India. The match had ended in a draw. Stokes made his test debut in 2013-2014 Ashes in Australia. He was impressive in his first series, even though England has lost all their 5 tests. England's 4.62 runs per over in test matches under Ben Stokes is the highest for any captain who has led in 2 or more tests. At number 2, South Africa have 3.74 under Jacques Kallis. Under him, England have a 66.67 win percentage in test matches. And in 99 test matches, the England skipper has scored 6,251 runs, averaging 36.34, and has also taken 197 wickets. The Saurashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Rajkot on Wednesday was renamed as the Niranjan Shah Stadium in an event held at the venue. The stadium has been renamed after former BCCI Secretary Niranjan Shah, who's been one of the most senior cricket administrators in the country. During the 1960s, 1970s, Shah played 12 first-class matches for Saurashtra, and he continues to hold a significant influence in the SCA. The ceremony held on the eve of the third test was attended by India head coach Rahul Dravid, excuse me, Captain Rohit Sharma, Ravindra Jadeja, Mohammad Siraj, Aksar Patel, and the members of the coaching staff and chairman of selectors Ajit Agarkar. On the occasion, Indian cricketer Cheteshwar Pujara
Pratik. Hi.
On the occasion, you can see the BCCI Secretary Jai Shah was there. There was also felicitation for Cheteshwar Pujara, Ravindra Jadeja and Jaydev Unadkat. Former Indian captain Anil Kumble, Sunil Gavaskar also felicitated players from Saurashtra who've achieved success in the recent years. And the big news coming out of that event was that Rohit Sharma will lead India at the T20 World Cup this year in the US and the West Indies. BCCI Secretary Jai Shah laid to rest all speculation about who will be leading India in the World Cup. Hardik Pandya, who replaced Rohit as Mumbai Indians captain, was tipped to be the Indian captain for the shortest format of the game. But Jai Shah, he dismissed all the rumours. He was speaking at an event to name the Saurashtra Cricket Association ground after former BCCI Secretary Niranjan Shah, as we just told you. And in fact, this is what he said. He said in 2023 at Ahmedabad, even though we did not win the World Cup after 10 straight wins, we won hearts. I want to promise you that in 2024, under Rohit Sharma and his captaincy, we will hoist the Indian flag in Barbados. Went on to talk about India's remarkable success under Rohit. He also added that Rohit was captaining in the past and in other formats, and he came back for the Afghanistan series, which means we were going to let him continue forward. When Hardik was injured in the World Cup, who else can we give the captaincy? In the third T20 against Afghanistan, India were 22 for 4, and the way he took the team to 212 for 4, we can't question much about him, right? He has the ability, as I said. We won 10 games in the ODI World Cup. We didn't win the final, but it's part and parcel of the game. Whoever plays better wins. Jai Shah also confirmed that Rahul Dravid will stay as the head coach and Hardik Pandya will be the vice captain for the T20 World Cup. Now, there's also a question that was put to Jai Shah about Virat Kohli having taken leave from cricket for personal reasons for some time. He said, and I quote, "If somebody is asking for a personal leave in 15 years, then it is his right to ask for it." Virat is not that kind of a player that he would ask for a leave without any reason. We must back and trust our players. Former India all-rounder Kirsten Ghavri feels that India should not have, in fact, ignored Cheteshwar Pujara for the home series against England. Ghavri attended the event to rechristen the Saurashtra Cricket Association ground after former BCCI Secretary Niranjan Shah, and he said that considering his form and experience, Pujara should be an automatic choice for selection. Listen.
कमबैक का सवाल नहीं, एक्चुअली ही शुड हैव बीन देयर राइट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट टेस्ट मैच. वो हाँ, क्योंकि और वो अच्छे फॉर्म में भी है, अच्छे रन्स भी कर रहा है, तो उसको मुझे तो समझ में ये नहीं आ रहा है कि उसको ड्रॉप क्यों किया है. नाम भी शायद अगर मैं ना बोलूं तो भी लोगों को मालूम पड़ जाएगा, पड़ता ही है कि ये चेतेश्वर पुजारा के ही बारे में है, क्योंकि वो इस तरह का खिलाड़ी है और उसका टेम्परामेंट ऐसा है, उसकी डिसिप्लिन ऐसी है और उसको क्रिकेट की सिवाय और कुछ सूझता नहीं है. और मुझे तो बहुत हैरानगी हो रही है कि वो ये सीरीज में क्यों नहीं खेल रहा है. जब विराट कोहली ने भी कह दिया कि अभी अगली 3 मैच भी वो नहीं खेलने वाले, तो इमीडिएटली चेतेश्वर को खिलाना चाहिए था इधर राजकोट में ही.
with that, time for us to slip into a short break. When we return, Formula One season is gearing up, and so are the different car companies. They're all unveiling their new cars for the season. All the details after the break.
From fragile 5 to top 5, from a laggard to a leader, India under Modi has reimagined the world order. Presenting the second edition of TV9, What India Thinks Today. Summit theme, India poised for the next big leap. Listen to Prime Minister Modi unveil his vision for Viksit Bharat at News 9 Global Summit, a TV9 network initiative.
Repeat Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs celebrations were marred by violence. Miscreants opened gunfire on fans during the ceremonial parade in Kansas City on Wednesday. At least 21 people, including 8 children, were injured in the firing, and 1 death has also been reported.
Downtown Kansas City was a sea of red this Valentine's Day as Chiefs fans celebrated their 3rd Super Bowl title in 5 seasons with a parade. Many of the largest districts in the area had cancelled classes after Sunday night's come from behind 25-22 overtime win over the San Francisco 49ers. The celebrations turned into a tragedy towards the conclusion of the parade when the players and coaches were returning to Arrowhead Stadium on buses when gunshots were fired on the crowd. Authorities say at least 8 children were among 22 people hit by gunfire. Police also confirmed 1 death.
We have confirmed there is 1 deceased person. Our gunshot wound total has went up to 22, and Chief Grundison will provide a little bit more context to that. Right now, we're still working on a total of number of victims. This is still an active investigation. We do have 3 persons detained and under investigation for today's incident. We are working to determine if one of the 3 are the one that was in that video where fans assisted police.
Social media users have posted shocking videos of police running through a crowded scene as people in attendance hurriedly scrambled for cover. Kansas City has long struggled with gun violence, and in 2020 it was among 9 cities targeted by the US Justice Department in an effort to crack down on violent crime. In 2023, the city matched a record with 182 homicides, most of which involved guns. Mayor Lucas has joined with mayors across the country in calling for new laws to reduce gun violence, including mandating universal background checks.
Today was tragic for everyone who was part of it. I had the chance to talk to my wife just a moment ago, who said we became part of a statistic of too many Americans, those who have experienced or been part of or connected to a mass shooting. That is something that I hope we all recognize is highly problematic for all of us. I continue to commend our police officers, our firefighters, and others who were there to respond instantly. But we also need to figure out a way to make sure that things like this stop happening in our country.
Throngs had lined the route with their fans climbing trees and street poles or standing on the rooftops for a better view. Players rolled through the crowd on double-decker buses, DJs and drummers hurdling their arrival. Owner Clark Hunt was on one of those buses holding the Lombardi Trophy. Areas that had been filled with crowds were empty after the shooting, with police and firefighters standing and talking behind an area restricted by the yellow tape.
Scuderia Ferrari has unveiled their new car SF24 in the run-up to the 2024 Formula One season. Described as 95% new, the SF24 represents Ferrari's commitment to reclaiming its position at the forefront of Formula One. The SF24 introduces several technical innovations aimed at enhancing performance on the track. Notable changes include a revamped sidepod design for improved aerodynamics. Ferrari is also focused on revamping the rear wing to counter Red Bull's DRS advantage, aiming to enhance overall aerodynamic efficiency and stability. Additionally, the front wing has been reorganized with a shift in focus to outboard sanctions to generate more outwash. Dubbed Operation Relaunch, Ferrari's strategic initiative aims to propel the team back to championship contention. Now on to Mercedes, and Lewis Hamilton has said that he was excited that Mercedes presented a heavily revised car for the 7 times world champions last season before he moves to Ferrari. Mercedes finished second overall in 2023, but the former champions failed to win a race for the first time in 11 years. With Red Bull winning 21 of 22 and Max Verstappen taking his 3rd title in a row. Hamilton, 39, announced this month that he would be leaving at the end of the season after signing a multi-year deal with Ferrari. The Briton said in an online launch before the first laps at Silverstone circuit on Wednesday that it had been an emotional time and it felt surreal to be starting his 12th season with the team.
Focus through the whole of winter training is first, is getting the team back to where we once were, and I think we've had this difficult couple of years, which I think has been really grounding for us. It's helped us, regroup. We've had to relook at things, as Toto mentioned, and it's now just going through the important process, being really diligent with our work, understanding the data, understanding the car, maximizing from practice. Even just the one lap we might get in the rain today might give George and I a bit of a feeling of what's to come.
McLaren Racing unveiled their new MCL 38 for the 2024 season on Wednesday. British driver Lando Norris and Australian Oscar Piastri will be hoping to improve on last year when they steered McLaren to 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Norris had his best season in 2023, finishing 6th in the FIA Formula One's Drivers' Championship with 205 points. He had 6 second-place finishes, including at the British Grand Prix. The car will use the new Mercedes power unit after an existing deal with the manufacturer was extended until 2030. Also, let's talk about Aston Martin. They've launched their AMR 24, the new car for the new season. 4th-year driver Lance Stroll was forced to take the team's new challenger for a spin on Silverstone's tracks in the morning run before Formula One champion Fernando Alonso, a 2-time Formula One champion. In fact, Fernando Alonso, now in his 2nd year with Aston Martin, got behind the wheel in the afternoon for the 2nd run. Between them, the duo covered 200 kilometers across the 2 sessions and secured valuable performance data as Aston Martin seek to build on a 2023 campaign which saw Alonso secure 6 podium finishes from the first 8 Grand Prix races. The team had challenged Red Bull for the Constructors' title early on before fading away to finish 5th in the standings. Well, time for us to wrap this show up, but as we go, some of the world's best and most daring mountain bikers gathered in the picturesque Stellenbosch region of South Africa as the 2024 Dark Fest took place. One of the highlights of the event was the United Kingdom's Tom Isted successfully landing his 2023 world record's longest dirt-to-dirt backflip over the 110-feet jump on his first attempt. That meant he has sealed the record for another year in 2024. It was the 7th edition of the event in the Woolberg Mountains, and a favorite of the global free-ride MTB community. Goodbye.
That was quite scary though.
I thought I was going to end in tears.
You are.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा।
There's certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
A defiant performance by Ten Hag's men. Now standing at 7 feet 4 inches, Satnam Singh is making his way into professional wrestling.
We are getting more good news for India.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की। अभी डाउनलोड करें।